Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Wrestle Talk with Bear and B Dub on another edition of B Dub's Thoughts. April 1st, 2001, live from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. WrestleMania 17. Now this particular WrestleMania, um, it's one of my favorites. Also very special to me. This is the last WrestleMania in which me and my grandmother watched together. So every time I watch it, I think about that. This one was good from start to finish. Great opening match. Jericho and William Regal for the IC title. Jericho, of course, coming away with the victory. This is during the time where WCW had just been purchased the Monday night before by Vince McMahon, but Shane McMahon, purchased it. So, he comes in the WCW limo, makes a lot of reference to his WCW boys up in the stands. So I thought that was cool. This is also during a time where Lynn McMahon was quote unquote comatose, and Vince and had Trish Stratus pushing her around. We had Eddie Guerrero and Test. A lot of people forget about that match for the European Championship. I thought it was a good match. Guerrero coming away with the victory there. Kurt Angle and Benoit. This was a pure wrestling match. Nothing on the line, no titles on the line, nothing on the line but bragging rights. And then even afterwards, they got into it. So this was true. Like you could really see it was bragging rights in this one. So thought this was a good match. Also, all the way through. What else? We had trying to think good matches that really stood. Oh, this is the first time that China was really competing with the women now. By this time she had became more of a, hate to say it, but sex symbol, and now this is right after she appeared in Playboy, and this is where she is finally competing with the women instead of beating up all the men. And that night she walked away with the women's championship for the first time in her career. Mr. McMahon and Shane in a street fight. What a match. In my opinion, every match Vince McMahon has at WrestleMania, he puts on a show. And he might not be the most skilled person in wrestling, but he put on a show on this one. I thought him and Shane had a very good match. Seeing Shane go from coast to coast with the missile drop kick into the chair into his father's face was amazing. Also seeing the elbow drop through the table. So you also had TLC 2 for the World Tag Team titles. As usual, another great match. Each representative between the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, and Edge and Christian. You had Spike Dudley getting involved, and you had Lita getting involved. So I thought that was pretty cool. Jeff Hardy hitting the Swanton Bomb off the top ladder onto the outside floor and through the tables. Then you had Triple H and Undertaker in a no holds barred match. Doesn't that sound familiar? Match that happened 10 years ago yesterday. 10 years ago. But nonetheless, it was a good match. This is probably, in my opinion, Undertaker, one of his best WrestleMania matches. And of course, the streak continues. Austin and Rock 2. This one where you had Austin and The Rock going, before leading up to this, Deborah was involved. She was The Rock's manager, appointed as The Rock's manager, and they went back and forth. Then, I remember with this one, seeing Austin win the belt, but then make that heel turn, that famous WrestleMania turn, in which he joined with Vince McMahon. I didn't like him being with McMahon. I liked the idea, but I just didn't like the way they went with it. But this was a good match all overall. It would be, in my opinion, the least of the three, but it was still, all three of them were good matches. So WrestleMania 17 is in the books. I'm interested to know, what did you think about this one? Like I said, in my opinion, it was definitely one of the top 10 WrestleManias, without a doubt. Start to finish, you can pretty much watch it all the way through. But I want to know what you guys think. Anyway, follow us on follow Wrestle Talk with Bear and B Dub on Facebook, and on Twitter at Bear and B Dub. Thank you for joining me on this episode. And up next will be WrestleMania 18, Icon versus Icon.